forward. Let us continue with content.
Yeah.
The recent events, there are many other interesting things about 2030, but the recent events involve a shocking set of almost random moments of invasion. Some kind of space portal opens, horrific humanoid monsters come out with weaponry attached to their bodies and shoot up everything, and then eventually disappear. If they are killed in some way, then the bodies will disappear as well. They will evaporate. So it is quite shocking, and they are very, very effective. The question of whether there is some sort of goal to this, they don't at the moment seem to be targeting facilities in any kind of sensible way. But they don't.
No.
But it's, the fear is that maybe these are just the probes, and they are gathering intel as well. So this has led various different governments who don't like each other and other entities to collaborate. And the one of the most powerful and most interesting is the same group that produced the vaccine for the pandemic. And they are a bunch of tech bros who have been who have had a coalition for a couple of decades to bring wonderfulness and great peace and great health and great economics to the whole world through their genius notions, right? And so that's the organization, the International Society of Enlightened Scientists. Yes. Now that we all feel comfy.
Okay. Right? Almost ISIS, but not quite.
Exactly. And so they have facilities around the world. Interestingly enough, their headquarters of all places is in a small town in Nebraska.
Okay.
So the reason I mention them is that what they have done is discovered that the technologies that are bringing these things in, and the few bodies that have been managed to be recovered, and some of the equipment that has been retained, they have realized that this goes back to a scientist all the way back in the 1940s who disappeared. A rather barbaric scientist, a woman who was conducting horrific experiments, and that it's her technology improved. Somebody has made it better, and they've realized that she and her disappearance, you don't know much about.
Oh, now it's very interesting.
Yes.
Again.
So there's fear that maybe she's out there, or someone at least with her technology is out there, and they're trying to figure out where on Earth where off of Earth these things are coming from. They don't even know if it's in our same reality, or if it's just another planet or something. But what they have done, they have found a way to send people there. They've repurposed her old equipment, right? So they've got her old equipment all, with shiny things stuck in it, that they can now send you there. So the various governments and groups and various corruptions of those things have amassed what they're calling a jump team. The first jump team has returned. That led to a lot of changes in the ideas of what a jump team should be, and you are the second. And as you can see, the group has been very much formed by committee. And so there are a lot of diverse people there for diverse reasons. What has been explained is that you are not sent there personally, you are sent there mentally. And one of the things that is notable, we may have some roles to get a little deeper, but you have managed to pick up, you were all at the facility in Nebraska, in a little town called Dillon. There's this complex there that looks out of place. It is shiny and, doesn't look like it belongs in a small town. And the things that you have learned yourselves is that the jump team didn't come back very healthy. They didn't come back right, and so there's been a bit of there's been some difficulty trying to figure out what really happened. So but still they came back with enough information. They now know, as you have been told, they now know that the place is called Xenos. They know that it is the city, the place where these people went to is a city. It seems to be inhabited by monsters or people who are monsters and people who are not. It seems to be a highly militarized and industrial situation. And they have learned that, yes, indeed, Isabella Bain, at least by name, is not only in charge, but there's a great big church to her.
Okay.
And so they can tell you a little bit about the briefing, by talking to the different members of the jump team. Well, the ones that came back.
Intact enough.
Yeah, mentally that is. I mean, the bodies just lie there asleep, like yours will.
Yes.
So some of them are still lying there in coma because their little minds didn't return. But they have there. This is as good a map as they have been able to piece together, and they don't know what all the numbers are, but there is a big hillside ringed by this river, a big kind of mountain. Apparently there is some kind of fortress up here, which is the seat of the rule, with various military and laboratory facilities surrounding it. This would be the elite population, the privileged. After that seems to be a series of just tenements and slums and some kind of shopping or something like that, and with a big temple in the middle. And the jump team didn't discover too much else. They were busy fighting most of the time and trying to get oriented, and a lot of it didn't go very well. What seems to be the case? Well, more information about it will have to do with individual roles. We will not take too much time for that. But we have these characters here, and you are free to choose a character that you want to play. Briefly, we have an American politician who's trying to boost her reputation as being a badass, who is in there because they pulled, political levers. We have a Bulgarian, shall we say, a private contractor to European espionage and security agencies, who's there to keep an eye on the Americans while they're doing what they're doing, working mainly for the British. We have an experimental subject, one of the very few psychic human experimental subjects, whom they have brought in now that they realize there's a lot more mental weirdness going on. We have two American soldiers who are the surviving veterans of one of those alien attacks. And they know each other, they are friends. And then we have a specialist, an engineering specialist who knows, a scientist who's well qualified for the kind of intelligence they hope to gather on this mission. Because what they're really after is technical intelligence about the technologies. That's your primary goal on this mission. So the very kind of SWAT or SEAL team that they had amassed for the first mission treated it as an assault and got slaughtered. So they realized that they having people who've actually had contact with these creatures and having a somewhat more technical and diverse team, plus a few people who have leveraged themselves on there in shady ways, has been the result for this team.
May I please?
Yeah, please take a look at.
Sure.
Oh, you want that fellow?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Do we know how we materialize in the city?
That's what.
Will we look like?
what the idea is that you will actually be inhabiting bodies.
Okay.
Your mind goes over there and possesses bodies. That they knew from the beginning, or they didn't quite realize how profound it would be. If you want to know more about it based on the character, then we can. If you want to know more about it based on the character, then you can make a roll before we go to see how much you have been able to figure out, and then we can also see how the dice work.
For this guy?
I don't think. Yeah, you might. I'm not sure if we have. We can include you.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is there some corporate backstabbing here, or as there's? You said
There can
they were
be.
forced to work together
Yes.
against this
There are-
alien threat.
Similar to their fantasy game, there is a good combination of roles and choices when you make up the characters. And so whatever resulted from there is what we see here. There's more potential for competing corporate interest and backstabbing than showed up among us.
Yeah.
We have our own set of problems, less so that particular one,
Yeah.
which can occur depending on how the characters play out.
Yeah.
What does it mean that I have 3 boxes ticked of 70?
Okay, you are looking at right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the rule is if you look at one of those attributes like willpower,
Yeah.
you will see that there is a number and then half of it,
Oh.
right? Following.
Yeah.
And so if there is no check, so for example, you have both of them checked. So both interrogate and sanity.
Yeah.
And so that means that you would roll 4 dice instead of 2.
Oh.
Or wait, what is your sanity? It is
It's
5.
5.
Right, you will roll 5 dice instead of 2. And then since you have a check, that will be 6 dice. So you would roll 6 dice for interrogate, and you would actually roll 8 dice for sanity.
Is that good?
Yes. In other words, Martin is a very, very, very unshockable, very steady character.
I guess it follows the scale here.
Yeah.
I guess it's for that scale.
That is when you roll. That doesn't match the numbers. That's for rolled results.
Okay.
So when you roll a result and you get your number, just tell me, okay, I did well. I did superior, or I did, terrible, or whatever it says.
I think I'll do this one.
Okay.
This is fun.
Mhm.
I'll probably go with my first choice too.
Okay, so yeah.
I might go for Julia Bernbaum.
Oh yeah, the politician. Okay.
So I
right.
guess that leaves. Or yeah,
That's fine.
I could take Joey as well. But,
You seem
yeah,
interested in
either one.
Julia. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we have Joey here.
And
So-
you're my friend.
Right, correct. The two of you.
You're-
No,
you're
Martin.
my friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Martin is-
you're the soldier. Okay.
Right, okay. And so a few things, for example, Martin, being a very kind of smart, thoughtful guy, has thrown himself into researching everything he could. So he actually knows more than he should about the xenobiology and things like that.
Six
been-
dice on that.
Yeah, you've dedicated the last year to really to getting knowledgeable about this. Whereas Joey's kind of more of a regular guy who really ought to go be fixing boats in his garage rather than doing something like this. But his sister works at the facility, so this is that's one of the reasons you're there. Also, you're qualified because you have been in combat with these guys.
Are we both privates?
No, he is a sergeant.
Okay.
But you are
so
both
it's
remarkably low ranked for something like this.
Yeah.
But you can see why.
Yeah, they don't expect us to come back.
Well, not only that, but you are the ones who have had experience doing this. And also your sister pulled a few strings.
Well,
Yeah. So to get you
she
into...
wants to get rid of me.
No, she's she's pretty knowledge oriented.
Okay.
Actually, I'm fairly certain that my commander actually would like to get rid of me.
That is true. Yeah, the two of you, the both of you went around corners to get on this mission. You see, and the top were not able to stop you. They would prefer to have one of their little true blue patriots involved.
Very good.
Let's enter the city of Xenos.
Yes. Okay. So to tell you about your setup, there is a central pillar in the the transmission room of the facility. Yes, a central pillar with all of these little sort of hospital-looking beds, the kind that have a little rack that folds up. And each one of them has monitoring equipment for your vital signs. And so all of you get to get out of your clothes with your underwear on and get into the beds and get strapped in. Well, not really strapped in, just nicely placed in there with all the equipment. People are putting cuffs on your wrists and things like that. And of course, there is a scary looking little headset at the pillar that they're going to put on your heads. Now, you have all been introduced to one another, but only vaguely. It may surprise some of you that isn't that the senator? What's the senator doing here? Why is there a senator? And then, especially the American characters will be, wait a minute, what's that about? And then also, Danica has only been introduced as a representative of the European Armed Forces. Very vague.
That's Jessica.
Yeah, I'm sorry?
That's Jessica.
Jessica.
Biele, isn't that the Jessica Biele?
I have no idea.
No.
Oh,
okay.
And I
she's
don't
in
know.
Starship Troopers, I think. On that
And
picture, is it?
I don't care.
That's Danica.
Correct.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other interesting thing is the person who is brought in last, who is a nervous-looking young
Small
man
fellow.
with
Short fellow.
with his hair basically shaved and kind of growing back, and he is carefully accompanied by a very reassuring technician, somebody who's very reassuring toward him, who's saying, it will be all right, just we'll do just the one time, it will be all right, and then after that, and then this guy looks around and shuts up quickly. So, and his bed, yours,
Yes.
does have straps. So that's everybody else is kind of getting prepped and going, okay, here we go. And then you see this and you're thinking,
We're here voluntarily.
yeah,
but he's not really.
Right.
I'm a young guy, about my early 20s.
The last people who come in are military, and they're armed. The last people who come in and stand by the door are men with weapons. So that is the beginning.